Hello, my name is Sydney Parkinson, and today I'm going to share with you a study conducted by myself, Andrew Scott, Karen Roa, and Randy McCabe, where we were interested in looking at the long-term outcomes following CBT for anxiety and related disorders. So we know that 1 in 10 Canadians are living with an anxiety disorder, and we also know that CBT is the most employed treatment approach for anxiety and related disorders. However, what we know less about is the long-term efficacy of CBT because research is still very limited. And the available research tends to use highly screened participants and short follow-up periods, which means that we still don't really know exactly what happens following CBT in a naturalistic setting. So we know that CBT is effective, but we don't necessarily know for how long. And so this project wanted to investigate whether anxiety disorder symptoms return following completion of CBT and whether individuals show highly consistent or highly variable responses to treatment and follow-up. So how did we go about this project? Well, participants completed group CBT at the Anxiety Treatment and Research Clinic for the anxiety disorders here listed on your screen. Participants also completed the self-report questionnaires listed here to assess symptom severity for these different anxiety and related disorders. So participants completed these measures pre-treatment, post-treatment, and at 3, 6, 9, 12, 24, and 36-month follow-ups. So the study's follow-up period spanned over 3 years. You'll also see on this slide the sample sizes from pre-treatment and then the final sample size at 3 years. And while data collection is still ongoing, I will note that for this project, we did have very small sample sizes, in particular for panic disorder and OCD at the 3-year period. So first, let me just provide a little bit of context to these graphs. So the red lines that you see here indicate the general trajectory or the average scores of participants over the duration of the study. You'll also see that the darker bars on the x-axis represent pre to post treatment, while the lighter bars on the x-axis indicate the duration of the follow-up period. So for our first question, we were interested in investigating whether anxiety disorder symptoms return at any time during the follow-up period. We actually found that no, there was no significant return of anxiety disorder symptoms over the follow-up, and there's no clear trend really indicating the return of symptoms either. Now you'll see here that I've added in a bunch of gray lines, and what these represent are individual participants' trajectories over the duration of the study. So the other thing that we were interested in looking at is investigating whether individuals display highly consistent or highly variable responses to treatment and follow-up. And so what we found was that pre to post treatment, only individuals with social anxiety disorder, OCD, and PTSD showed significant individual variation in symptom change, and only individuals with PTSD showed significant individual variation in symptom change during the follow-up. So this study does provide preliminary evidence for the long-term efficacy of CBT in naturalistic settings. It also helps expand our understanding of whether the most employed treatment approach for anxiety and related disorders is having a meaningful and long-lasting impact. And it also sparks considerations of mechanisms that might be related to variation in response to treatment and follow-up.